Hey everybody, this is a live memory training session, and I'm working on remembering names that go with faces. And I'm using Anki and Memory League tonight to practice. So this is a real study session, and you can feel free to study along or hang out quietly or ask questions in the chat if you want. But I'm going to go ahead and get started. And the first thing I'm going to do is sync up my Anki deck that I've had on my phone today with my deck on my computer so that I can practice on my computer. Okay. And I'm going to start with Anki instead of starting with the drawing a blank because I'm doing too many things at once. Let's start with Anki instead of Memory League tonight. We probably will practice the Memory League intermittently, but I want to really make sure that I get through the flashcards. And I think I say this on every live stream. I have a lot of things that I have to get done still tonight, so I'm in a little bit of a rush. But let's see if we can go through. I have 184 reviews left today, or cards to review. Felipe. It's PH. This is Philip. Philip. The one L. Evelyn. Jack. Jack. I had to message somebody today, and the name was Jacqueline, but I have a coworker that I kept saying Jake Willen to, and I don't think she got the reference. It was just me and all the pretties that thought it was hilarious. Cat. Who's spraying a giant bee? Mm, Young. Oh, I've passed 100 here. Going a lot faster today. I think that because I have stuck with 500 names or 1,000 flashcards, that I'm seeing speed in my response time to memorizing them, which is excellent. There's a task specificity going effect going on where practicing the same thing and I'm getting faster at it. And the there isn't a downside to that in this regard where I practice names and I get better at it. Sometimes when you're training a skill, you want to train a skill with the hope that it will generalize to a more broad skill base. So you might do um, some exercises in the gym that work on your legs and core and all that kind of thing. And you're hoping that the carryover is going to be that you perform better in your sport. So you're not training just for lifting, but you're training to improve another area of your life. That's kind of a that's kind of like a broad example. I think that there are probably better ones for what we're talking about, but um, in this case, being pretty task specific training names is okay because the goal for me is first and foremost to get a lot better at memorizing names. Um, but the second goal is to be fast. So if that means that repeated exposure to the same flashcards and training regimen every day makes me faster at that one specific thing, that's actually the goal. So that's totally fine. So that would be like if I was training in the gym and I was doing a bunch of squats and deadlifts and things like that, and then I was wanting to be a power lifter. So doing those exercises specific to that task where where I'm training specifically for that task to be more aligned. A little bit of a ramble as I think about what I want to do next. I think I want to keep going with these cards. Stanley. Stanley. I should know this. It's not a Stanley Cup because I wouldn't remember that in the heat of the moment. Okay. Jasper. Christmas tree angel lighting the room. Lloyd. Carbine. with a C. Okay, so I've made it through the cards that I started with today, and I have 10 that I'm re-reviewing before I'm done with the flashcards. And this has gone extremely fast, but that just goes to show that I have reviewed these cards quite a bit, so I'm getting better at them. Because I mean, the other day it took us like an hour. We were kind of cutting time down as time goes on, as the days go on. Vermin, vermin. Lucia. Okay. Nice. Made it to the end. So that was about 180 something. Okay. Had to check a message. So it's time to do some memory league. Once I get it pulled up. Okay. Still, I am on level 7. They're going to give me 18 names to memorize, and I need to recall at least 12 of them to go to the next level. And I have 1 minute. When you click start, you get a countdown timer of about 20 seconds, and then it'll start showing you the names. And um, I'm not fast enough yet to be able to get through 18 names in 1 minute, but I am hopeful to get close to the 12 tonight to move forward. All right. Guess I'm gonna have to call it. Ah, I got 9. It was because I had um, failed on one of my images for Lucille. I was struggling to recall that image, and I think it's because I didn't place it in a meaningful place. I didn't put that image in a place that would be easy for me to recall when I saw her face. So, what would be a good use of time? We're not even at the 30-minute mark. I'm going to go in here to my deck of flashcards. I'm going to try to add some cards in there that I haven't. Oops. Or maybe not. Maybe what I will do is take and make a list and I'll make flashcards later. That way we can focus on just practice right now. So, if I do that, I can come down here. Oops. Okay, let's try another one. I just need to go like a fraction of a second faster with each one, and I can encode those names a little bit. If I can do a little bit faster, I can probably get to that 12 mark. On that one, I got 10, but it was. I thought that I did way worse because there were a lot of names in there that I wasn't familiar with, so I was skipping a bunch, and I was like, I'm gonna get like 5, and then I got 10, so that's solid work. Okay, let's add to this list over here. I have Rosemary. It's funny, some of the ones that I skipped, I guess I don't. The ones that I didn't skip, I just didn't get to. I had images for. still 2 away from being able to get to the next level. But we have time, so we're going to go ahead and keep practicing. Oh. Client services is calling me, so I'm going to not answer. Client services from another city. I don't know. Didn't pay enough close attention to time, so I didn't grab any names real quick at the end. Shoot. Hmm. Another 10. Getting 10 and being consistent, that's pretty good. Oh yeah, I'm going to add this to my list. Find any names that I come across. All right, we'll try another one. Now, if you're keeping track of time, you might notice that it's taking me more than a minute between memorizing and answering. That's because you get a minute to memorize and you get a couple of minutes to type in the names. That one was a lot tougher. A lot of names in there that I wasn't familiar with. Whew. Okay. As you can see from all the typing, there were a lot that I wasn't as familiar with. Well, obviously, I've heard these names before, or the names as words, but I haven't made images for them. That's what I mean by I'm not as familiar with them. Hmm. Hmm. Okay. There are two people here that I believe I should recall their name, but I am struggling because I tried to go kind of fast in that second half. Mm, I think her name was Mona because I don't have an image for Mona, but it was okay. Oof, it's because I went so fast at the end. All right, I'm not going to get this guy's name. I should have put the image somewhere else besides his forehead. Ah, yeah. Okay. Still got 10 though. This is a pretty solid performance, and part of me thinks I should stop while I'm ahead. Maybe we'll do one more. We'll just. Oh, you know what? Better add to my list real quick. Oh, I've got that. Had that one too. So, kind of the luck of the draw. If I would have seen a couple of his other names before the time ran out, I probably would have gotten them because I had some of those images pre-made. All right, let's try one more. Gonna risk making more mistakes to try and go a little bit faster and push my ability to associate those images more quickly. Ooh, okay. I don't think I saw this guy. I would have remembered this guy's mustache for sure. And that guy's mustache too. Got some solid mustaches. Okay. I know I should have this one. I'm not gonna get it. Gale. Damn. Okay. Still though, we've got 10. So pretty consistently at that 10 mark. And what is hard to recognize whenever you're watching somebody else do this, and maybe even if you're not paying attention to your own stats, if you were to be training your memory, is not only the maximum that you can reach, but also what is your consistency across different samples. So if I practiced today and sometimes I got 2, sometimes I got 7, sometimes I got 4, sometimes I got 10, the inconsistency would suggest that maybe I don't have a big list of names in my head, and all that I've got um, are like as a smaller list that I'm really familiar with, and so I'm always going to get those right, but then I'm going to miss a bunch whenever they aren't all aligned. So by having about 500 names that I can work with, it helps. It's right now it's helping me to be able to get 10 in a row out of the 18 that I'm given, which is consistent. I'm doing it, and so that's telling me that there is a real benefit to where I'm at. I am faster than when I hadn't practiced, and I'm more consistent with being able to remember a certain amount of names, regardless of the sample of names that I'm given. But to move forward, there are a couple of things that I know I've got to do. One, I've got to have a bigger database of names in my head, and I've got to start associating that image faster on a person's face. So I'm going to be working on identifying a technique that's going to help me to do that faster. I haven't found it yet. In the real world, what you want to do is you want to try and find a feature on that person's face, especially one that doesn't change very much, if you're trying to remember long term, and try to associate with that feature, so that if you see somebody with like a big nose and you put an image of like someone aiming a gun for Amy on that nose, when you see Amy, you'll see that nose immediately. That'll be a natural trigger, and you'll say, ah, Amy. Or if they have bushy eyebrows or whatever. If you're going to just try and remember somebody's name for a couple of at the moment, it doesn't have to be the most distinct feature. Because I mean, you're not going to have to really try and drill that into your memory over like a long-term event, at least not immediately. But for competition, I am spending a lot of time trying to find a good place for those images, and I want to find a place that I can place that image quickly without having to think very much. But it's got to, in my experience, the image has to not only be on the face, but interact with the face. So if I notice somebody's nose sticks out, or maybe better yet, they have like big nostrils, then having whatever the image is, maybe it's maybe let's look at some of these. Maybe it's Roger. So I've got Roger from Family Guy swinging from the nostrils. That helps me to keep that image there as opposed to just imagining the picture on the face. But if maybe I need to broaden my approach and try and get the image on the entire face, and that might help to do the interaction because there will be more features that are in the way of that image. Not quite sure yet how I can speed that part up, but I do know I need a larger set of names that I'm immediately ready to associate. So there are some things that I know I can move forward on, some things I'll have to experiment on, but I'm going to keep working at it. And I appreciate your time tonight. So everybody have a good night, and I will catch you next time.